ready.
Barry, just how you kind of went over the game with Luke. What were the points of emphasis with you guys?
Yeah, we approached the Sunday like we do every other game. As far as you learn from your successes, but really, to be honest with you, the time you learn the most is from your failure, right? And so obviously the routine was the same, but the emphasis on, hey, where can we improve? What can I do to help you? What did you like? What did you not like? It's a constant conversation, not just with Luke, with all of our players on all sides of the ball in all phases. But obviously we got off to a slow start, and that goes without saying. And Luke wasn't as probably as sharp as he had been in some other games. Made some really nice plays, competed really hard, like our team did in the second half. But we had some things we got corrected, and they'll help us move forward.
What did you see from him in terms of how he saw the field on Saturday?
I don't think he saw the field any differently than what he had seen. Obviously the first interception was something that he didn't see clearly, was a misread, and their speed in the back end, I think, really showed up during the course of the day, and that was a good example of that. The safety spun, and he thought the safety was grabbing the low crosser, and it's a mistake that most quarterbacks make at some point in time, and obviously that's something that we need to learn from, and he will.
What you're seeing, Barry, is Luke holding on to the ball too long, or is it not that simple?
Say one more time.
From what you're seeing based off Saturday, is Luke still holding on to the ball too long, or is it just not that simple?
It's not that simple.
I mean, red zone offense, percentage-wise, had been even better than a year ago. Just what maybe broke down Saturday? It had several trips there.
Yeah,
didn't end up.
Yeah, it was a big factor, obviously, in the game. I think we had four trips officially, and got one touchdown and a field goal, and had two possessions where we had nothing. So from a percentage standpoint and from an execution standpoint, obviously a really poor day in the red zone. And really when it comes down to it, we've got to, it starts with me, right? We got to call a little bit better, and we got to have a heightened sense of execution when the field gets compressed against a good team, fast teams like we're going to see and play the rest of the season. Like those little inches, those little yards, the fits, the angles, the executions become at a heightened importance, and we have executed fairly well down there throughout the year, but yesterday or Saturday we did not, and that's something we sat back and evaluated as a staff and as a team.
So what is maybe the challenge when you don't have room to really work, where it's so compact?
The challenge is just what you said, right? The safeties aren't as deep. The coverage doesn't have to defend as much as the field, so everything gets very restricted, and execution becomes a premium there in those moments. Your steps, your angles, the fits, the reads, the routes, the spacings, all those things is what makes good execution in the red zone possible. And we had moments where that wasn't present.
What's unique about the Minnesota defense? Is it a similar scout to anybody else that you've played this year so far?
No, not really. It's a little bit different than what we've, obviously there's only so many down linemen you can have. It's a 3-down team or a 4-down team, and this is primarily a 4-down team, a new coordinator, similar tree than what they've been previously running, but it's got a very different feel and flavor from what it has the previous 2 years that I was here going against Minnesota. The structure and the infrastructure is certainly the same. I think they're playing at a really high level. You can tell they're playing with a lot of confidence. They know their scheme very well, and it, again, not to sound like a broken record, but a lot of respect for what they do and how they're doing it, and it'll create another real challenge for us.
Coach, can you assess Aiden Lawfrey to this point, and also, do you like him better on inside runs? I had somebody write me and say, seems to be running inside a lot, seems like it could be better on the outside. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, sure. So we were really pleased with Aiden on Saturday.
Okay.
I think he's kind of coming back and hitting his stride, so to speak, here the last few weeks. I think he's certainly, part of that is probably he's feeling better physically than he's felt since the beginning of the season. And then you shift to the second part of that question, and being the speed that he has, right, to get him on the perimeter is always something that's that we are looking at and thinking about. And him and Khalil have a unique running style to maybe Josh to Jordan or Caden, and then you try to blend that together with what we do well up front and what we're doing well, and how you blend those two together. But we have confidence in all of our backs to run any of the schemes that we have in our system, gap schemes, wide zone and tight zone, And we did that with them on Saturday, and we'll continue to do that.
Barry, obviously, Coach B will address Pat Bryant, but like behind him, what does this week mean for those guys who are behind him, and what's your confidence in what those guys can bring?
Yeah, I mean, we feel good about we talked about that. We've had a lot of different guys show up. You got Malik continues to get game experience, and Colin and Hank have been playing a lot more football, and Alex Kapka Jones is practices really well. He hadn't been on the field lately, but he continues to work hard and to be somebody that we trust wholeheartedly about not just knowing what the offense is, but to get in there and play at a high level, at a Big Ten level. And so, between that concoction of guys and moving around, we feel like we'll be fine there. Obviously, we prefer to play with everybody that we have at full strength, but that's part of football, and we'll see how obviously see how the week goes. But as far as the next man up mentality, that's what it is this time of year in Big Ten football, and I think our guys understand that at all positions.
Besides this is elementary, can you walk us through how the protection on the line is kind of laid out? Like Josh said, he wears a good deal of that responsibility, but how much comes in from the sideline in terms of?
Oh yeah, well we obviously have a call,
Sure,
that we
right.
send in, and then usually most teams have the quarterback or the center have the ability to manipulate the protection based on the front and the front structure. And so just a generic overview of that is, we send a call in, and then we have multiple guys at both levels, quarterback and center, that have the ability to manipulate that based on what is the best way to set that based on the infrastructure of the defense. So it's really that simple.
Barry, how much confidence do you have in receivers kind of knowing all three spots in a sense, and
Yeah.
being able to rotate them in and out, not only on the field, but in certain XYZ spots?
Yeah, really do. I have a high level of confidence, and particularly the guys that have played the bulk of the season, and then Malik's kind of gotten to the point where he's able to go to both sides of the ball for us, and so yeah, that's a really nice thing, and we try to cross train those guys as much as we can, and the way their offense works is they end up usually kind of being left and right to some degree, and they end up sorting out at some point in time, end up playing in the slot just by formation, and so I think they're all comfortable. It adds a great deal of flexibility for us.
It would seem like what you just described maybe as a Colin Dixon, where you get him on the field in the slot, but he also can play outside if you need him to. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he popped in there the other day, I
Sure.
believe, a few plays on the perimeter. We have ways to manipulate the formations, obviously, where if you could be the slot, but you would to the naked eye, you would look like he's playing on the perimeter, if that makes sense. So it's really just kind of about who's on the field and how you call the formation to get people to where that you would want them to be, or to emphasize maybe a certain skill set.
You get the impression that from a morale perspective, the guys have put Saturday in the past.
Yeah, we talked at length about that yesterday. We spent the first part of yesterday of reviewing and learning and taking that moment that, obviously all the things that we did, there was a lot of really good things that happened during the game on Saturday, but as we all know, in an outcome like that, there was a lot of things that weren't up to par, or that we have to be better at to be able to put our best foot forward and win this game on Saturday. And so we wanted to teach off of that, emphasize that, coaches included, and then go have dinner, and then literally let's turn the page, right? Let's turn the page to this opponent that's coming up, who's a really good football team, and it's a really big game for us on Saturday here. So I thought our guys did a nice job of embracing the corrections, absorbing the corrections, and then turning the page, and then obviously today's their off day, and so when we get back in here tomorrow, we'll hit the ground running as we fully turn the page to our prep for Minnesota.
Along those lines, would you say Luke Allmeyer is more equipped this year to respond to that kind of adversities from a mental standpoint?
Yeah, I would think so. I know so. I mean, he's a more mature player, a more complete player than he was this time last year, and every experience he's had, home, road, win, loss, good game, bad game, you learn from, and he certainly approaches it like that, and he's more comfortable in his role and what he's doing, and so, I feel very confident that he'll bounce back and continue to lead our football team in the way that he has, and put his best foot forward in our preparation this week, and he'll have to play well on Saturday against a really good defense.
It feels like the run game has been a positive the last
Yep.
couple of weeks. What do you get from that committee and just that entire operation to get some success against really good defense?
Yeah, we played. Yeah, I agree with that. I think our run. I've been pleased with that. We still have some things that we got to get better, and we got to run the ball better and continue to stay committed to that. but I do think our backs ran really hard the other day, and I think at times our line did some really good jobs, or did a really good job, I should say, against that front and covered them up pretty well. And we made some tight ends were involved in that as well. I thought Carson Goda really played well for us the other day, and in his role. And yeah, I mean, hopefully we're coming in kind of our own a little bit in sync in the run game, and kind of that's leveling off for us, because that's got to continue to be an important thing that we do. Is just we got to be able to run the ball efficiently and effectively. And I mean, I think these guys. I don't know exactly the number, but I know it's a very highly ranked run defense, and a defense overall that's been stingy against the run. And so it'll be a great challenge for us to be able to do that this week.
What's Luke's role maybe in that run game moving forward? I mean, do you dial up more for him specifically, or do you just kind of count on him maybe making the reads when it's not?
Yeah, both. I mean, there's some of that's natural reads. Against Michigan a couple weeks ago, there were some more maybe designed things for him, and then certainly had some of that stuff in the plan as well. It just never unfolded last week, but we feel like he's a weapon for us. And but the first priority for us is we want to give the ball to the backs, and then when we can add an extra hat or get the opportunity for him to get on the edge, that's something that we got to continue to explore, because I think Luke's got a natural knack for that, and he's got good ability to do that.
Saw the ball come loose a few times with him. What's the process for you guys throughout the week of working on that ball security?
Yeah, in the pocket. Yeah, we try to simulate the best we can without actually getting him in harm's way, but just so he can practice and continue to harp on two hands and the ball and ball security. And that's one of the things we talk about a lot, is just like we have to protect the quarterback and protect the ball and the ball carriers, right? And so that's everybody, including himself. He's got to protect himself, with getting rid of the ball at times, and then we got to protect his blind side, when he doesn't see those things coming. So whether it's a lineman, a tight end, a back, a receiver running the right route, quarterback throwing the right time, there's a lot that goes into having ball security, other than just holding on to it, and but that's obviously a big point of emphasis for all of our players on offense. You touch the ball, job security is the most important thing that you have, right? Ball security. And so we emphasize it and preach it, work it during practice. We'll continue to do that again this week.
Well, good.
Thanks, everybody.